Hey going shooters, welcome back to another episode of AU Reviews. Today I'm going to be doing the Pardus Magpul 870 guard conversion. It'll allow you to put on the 870 guard, as you can see here. I had an earlier video up and basically originally the difference is that I had a hose clamp pushing the guard or holding the guard forward. So when you tighten this, it would tighten onto the hose clamp and it would hold it tight. Now obviously the hose clamp didn't look as professional, and yeah, hence the reason I got rid of it. And I've used a piece of tubular steel pipe, and I've basically cut it to the right size to hold the guard perfectly forward. So yeah, and I've painted it black. Now, I just will say quickly, there is some scratch marks and I've taken the paint off. That is completely my fault. Normally that doesn't happen. I was just mucking around with it and I accidentally got it stuck and I was like pulling it and it was gouged some of the paint off. Now that's an easy fix, obviously, you just spray paint it again. But basically, yeah, so essentially what this setup allows you to do is, as you might be able to see, there's the M-lock rails, which allow you to put on the Picatinny rails onto it. So you've got the ones on the side and then you've got obviously the ones on the bottom. So I've got some of those on the way. I'm just waiting on them and I'll put it on and show you. But basically, that's why I wanted this kind of guard, because it's more comfortable. And you can attach attachments. You could even put a vertical foregrip on the Picatinny rail once you have it. And I've got a angled foregrip going on the front of this guard when I get my rails, and I'll put a video up on that. But yeah, I just like this as opposed to the standard guard, which has nothing on it, unless you had the tactical version, then you had a small Picatinny rail. But just the standard Pardus foregrip had nothing, so I prefer the Magpul one. What I will say quickly is, for your note, this guard is actually around the wrong way. It's just easier to fit on this way. So, but I'm sure you really can't even tell unless you know this guard particularly. Look, the writing, you wouldn't even know, and it works exactly the same, so there's no problem there. But yeah, that's basically it, and I'll get into it, guys. I'll break it down and show you what I've done and how it works. So yeah, let's get into it. Okay, how you going, guys? Look, I just want to show you this quickly. Basically, this is the standard nut, and it can still go onto the end. Even when you do this guard conversion and there's a gap, it'll actually go tight, so you can still keep that on there as a sling attachment if you want it. But yeah, let's get into it. Let's break it down. So basically it's the standard breakdown. Obviously you don't have that nut, but it's just this locking nut on this barrel collar. You just want to unscrew that. That's off, and essentially you want to have the action forward, and you just pull the gun, the barrel forward. You know, that's a bit, there we go. So that comes apart, as you can see, and you want to grab that, and you want to slide the guard up forward. So you want to wriggle it up. So then that comes off, barrels comes off, then you've got this guard, and then you've got this part here. Then there's the standard shotgun. Oh. Okay, so basically, I've done some more modification. So basically, this section here retains the guard forward. So it sits inside here, and you can see there's a tube part that's raised in there for the guard to push against. And so yeah, that's how it works. So basically there's a tube section that comes up to here, and you need to grind that back, and the reason for that is because the bolt carrier travels out along the magazine, and it needs clearance. So when this comes down, when this comes down, we don't want the bolt carrier to hit it, otherwise it can catch. So you need to take it back up to here. So yeah, that's an important part to note. So on the front part of the guard, what you need to do is you need to cut a square section out at the top for the it's for the barrel collar to fit in. This part here needs to slide in so it can lock in on the guard. And then you also need to cut a sort of a circle section out, a cylinder section out of the guard, grinded out with a die grinder or Dremel. So once again, so the collar can sit nice and flush in there and locked in position. And as you can see on mine, it's perfectly in there, and it locks it in. So that's that part. It's also important to note that I made one further improvement recently. Inside here, the tube section, I don't know if you can see, but I had to add a piece of pipe because the width of it is too wide on the magazine. So the diameter is too wide, and so I had to add a piece of pipe in there to give it, to tighten it up and take out any movement. And I'll explain that in a second when it comes back together. It needs to be 100% exact, this piece here, to ensure that if it's too short, the guard will move back and forward on the magazine. If it's too long, you won't be able to tighten the nut against the barrel collar, and the barrel won't be fully in the receiver, and obviously that's not good either. So it's a bit of playing around to get it exactly the right length. And also, because this pipe I got from Bunnings, they didn't have the right size. I added a piece of sprinkler pipe inside. I just glued it in to stop it moving as well. That helps take out any movement there is on that. The other thing is the paint on this came off because I was playing with it last night and it all scratched off, so that's not a problem. You can just repaint it, you won't even know. But yeah, that's essentially it. So there's only two parts, and it can go back together, fully go back together. So I'll do that now, and I'll show you how it goes back together. So yeah.